the news and the press release informing the press and the entire community that on Friday, January 26th, the Division of Study Financing, in collaboration with the Division of Education Innovation, the Department of Youth, and the Department of Labor and Social Services of my colleague Minister, will host a registration drive from 9 to 1 p.m. in the lobby of the Government Administration Building. Persons, young people interested in being employed in the building construction sector have the wonderful opportunity to attend a 6-month training at the Institute of Technology in Trinidad to indeed become certified tradesmen. Yeah, we've emphasized the critical shortage of staff in that area of construction, and therefore our need and reliance on foreign labor, and therefore we need to emphasize the importance of these type of opportunities. I would like to encourage young men and women, I will not be gender biased, to grab this opportunity. Through the Studying in the Region project, that is the title on which these initiatives can take place. It is funded by the Netherlands. Persons can become certified in carpentry, masonry, plumbing, electrical installation, welding, and general property management. These courses are indeed recognized because they are certified on a Caribbean vocational qualification level. To be eligible to apply, you have to be between the ages of 18 and 35. Yeah, so it's also an important opportunity for second chance learning, and which I would like to emphasize, seeing the high numbers of unemployment amongst that category. When we are still looking at the situation of approximately 24–25% youth unemployment, please, I would like to encourage everybody to grab that opportunity. I look forward to seeing you together with my colleague there Friday morning, and with all the divisions present. You have to have a Dutch nationality, or, and here it comes, possess a permanent residence permit. Yeah? So other than, for instance, study financing that is limited to Dutch nationalities, Dutch nationals, this is a wider group, and that creates an opportunity. You, potential qualified students, should have a strong interest in the construction sector. And I know it might be challenging because you might want to hustle and grab the opportunity and a job that you have out there now. But this is a course for 6 months, and look at the opportunity ahead of you. Don't only go for the quick fixes, try and really enhance your competencies and skills so that you can be there to stay, and that you also create opportunities for yourself to, for instance, start your own business. Yeah, we all emphasize, Minister of Economic Affairs, Minister of Labor, emphasize the importance of micro-entrepreneurship, and that is a great opportunity. So I really want to encourage everybody to grab the opportunity. You have to be willing to live abroad for 6 months in Trinidad. Yeah, you have to therefore be self-reliant, of strong will, and therefore to study temporarily abroad. It is expected that you have basic literacy and math skills, and of course, preferably some vocational education on a secondary level.
We are also concerned of the press release yesterday by the Council of Ministers, by the Minister Yorin Warita, on the matter of sending folks to Trinidad for training, you know. While we applaud it on one side, but we have to also be very critical of the fact that we know definitely as professionals in the field, and I'm talking here vocational, and so that you cannot train no electrician in 6 months. You cannot train any mason or carpenters in 6 months. You cannot have welders and pipe fitters trained in 6 months. So the bottom line is that here we are embarking now on what seemed to be a very nice project in a political year, but it's a waste of money, and we are very clear where this is concerned because of the money that can only be spent once, and people need roofs on their, roofing and clothing, and so we are critical, and we are saying that first you have to pay their ticket, which is expensive, boarding, transportation, and you have to give them money while they're there in Trinidad. We have empty schools here. We have technical schools that are empty in the evening. We have technical schools that we don't use in the weekend. We have qualified teachers on the island that can train these people here. So it is our job as the coalition here and the consumers also, and the anti-poverty to look into that government do not spend with bogus programs the money of the people, because this is a bogus program. You understand me? Because the money that you're going to spend sending this age group to Trinidad alone can well pay for our professionals, qualified professionals. When you send, let me give you an example. When you send someone to Trinidad to study electrical, is he study the NAN, which is the norm, the standard of Europe, or you send some sort of Trinidadian norm? Because that's what count in our region in the European system. You understand me? Where that is concerned. And beside that, our qualified teachers them here are working according to the standards, and teaching has taught many professionals according to the standard. We have here the empty schools that sits there, not used, okay? So that money can be best used. And here once more, we see where we could bring back the pride in this society of truly putting the confidence in our locals, you understand me? Putting the money to good use, and on the money that we are spending unwisely, then can be stretched here locally, and these guys, or these youngsters that are going to be trained, can be now in a program, not short, but long term, and come out with a diploma from this situation. So we got to, first we're speaking out, and we are saying that this is just a bogus program. Get real, because this is the taxpayers' money, and people are in need of roof, clothing, and whatever. The savings can be better used on this island.
Hey guys, did you know that now with Telcel, if you accumulate $25 or more within one calendar month, you get 15 more?
15 more?
Yes, 15 more. However you want.
So I can top up $3 now, $10 next week, and so on until I reach or pass $25?
That's right. Get 15 more.
Wow! I feel like a 15 again.
Yeah. Right. Accumulate $25 or more within one calendar month and get 15 more. Telcel, when you want more.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NV.
Which political party will eradicate the poverty in St. Martin? As we know, we are heading towards the polls again. We have our political parties, and we also have the colors, and everything is already set up. We know the candidates, etc. For us at the anti-poverty platform, from the last time that we have been in Parliament, we have only seen an increase of the families that are now faced and have been thrown into poverty due to, let's say, the act of nature, the 2 hurricanes. And when I say thrown into poverty, if you don't have an income, according to the standard, if you're out of a job, you don't have that type of income, then automatically you are now on the poverty line. You have your bills to pay, your children, your family to take care of, but there is no financial means. So it's all about the financial means. So basically, as anti-poverty platform, we prepared a declaration on eradication of poverty in St. Martin, and this declaration was presented at last election already to political parties and their leaders to be able to peruse and sign off. Well, it didn't happen, which shows you quite clearly that those political parties at that time were not in line with eradicating poverty on St. Martin. They were not in line with our thoughts of having their input and also to have this on their agenda and making it a social protection floor also for the workers. So therefore, this declaration has been edited, adapted, and again it will be presented to the political parties that are now contesting the upcoming election, again with the concerns addressed of the platform, and also trying to see if who can commit, which party will commit to the eradication, not the alleviation, but the eradication of poverty on St. Martin.
I think one of the main purposes of the eradication of poverty is to maintain the integrity in St. Martin. Keeping people in poverty is not integrity. And so the integrity report of Transparency International has served us as a basis to address all the politicians for them to comply with the recommendations of this report. If this report has stated that 75% of the households lives in poverty because they have a family household income of less than 4,000 guilders a month, which is less than $2,200, we want a guarantee from the politicians that every household can get at least this amount so that they can be out of poverty, that they can have sufficient means. We all have seen how in this society now all of a sudden starts a whole discussion of cutting the salaries of the parliamentarians, the MPs. We will come back on this issue in a while, but for you to understand, for us, we want to talk not about what the MP is getting. We want to talk about what the people is getting. And so that part is for us so important that any party that does not want to eradicate the poverty, for us, should not be worthy to get any vote from our voters.
All efforts are being made to reopen the civil registry section at the PSC Simpson Bay as soon as possible. The opening hours for the civil registry on Wednesdays will be extended to 3:30 p.m. The office will no longer close during half days. The extended opening hours are until the current appointment backlog for ID cards, driver's licenses, and passports has been cleared up. In addition, on Saturdays, the office will open from 9 o'clock in the morning to 1 p.m. to further assist in clearing up this appointment backlog. Once a week, on a chosen date to be announced by the departments, walk-ins for registration forms will be possible, so no appointments will be needed on this day. Senior citizens will continue to have preference when it comes to receiving services at the Civil Registry Department. And lastly, the opening hours for civil servants, their spouses, and children will be reinstated. These services will be provided between 8 a.m. and 8:30 a.m. by appointment only. I will repeat, opening hours for our civil servants, their spouses, and children will be reinstated. These services will be provided daily from 8 o'clock in the morning till 8:30 a.m. by appointment only. Over the next 2 weeks, a World Bank team will work with the civil servants to identify priorities for the recovery and reconstruction of St. Martin. I welcomed the team last Friday, and they held their first meetings on Monday. The World Bank team comprises of recovery program specialists and operations advisors. As a first step, the team will assist the government in finalizing the damage and loss analysis of Hurricanes Irma and Maria. At the same time, the World Bank team will look closely together with the government of St. Martin on a consolidated national recovery and reconstruction plan. This plan will define short, medium, and long-term priorities for recovery and reconstruction. The plan will further include estimates of financial requirements and identify projects that require urgent action. The implementation of the National Recovery and Reconstruction will be led by the government of St. Martin. The World Bank will provide technical assistance and serve as the trustee of the financial support that has been offered by the government of the Netherlands. On Tuesday afternoon, following an introductory meeting to assess the current state of the Postal Services St. Martin, a delegation including the Minister of Justice, Cornelius de Wever, and my person, visited the offices of the PSS to observe the working conditions and to better understand the severity of the financial situation of the PSS. Management of PSS and the SMCU union are on the same page, and that is a positive sign. We are fully aware that the Postal Services as a business is no longer viable locally and internationally. And to add insult to injury, the building was severely damaged by Hurricane Irma. Thus, an innovative and effective financial solution must be put together quickly. In short term, the government of St. Martin continues to support PSS in its efforts to keep its postal and other services to the public functioning. I take this opportunity to publicly thank the brave and committed staff of PSS for working under such deplorable conditions and pledge government's commitment to come to an amicable solution that takes into consideration all parties involved. The present situation is truly unacceptable and something must be done sooner rather.
People all across St. Martin are switching to a more rewarding experience. The WIB MasterCard Fun Miles credit card, better known as My Card. Earn 1 Fun Mile for every $2 spent, even abroad and online. This will quickly get you a ton of Fun Miles to redeem for travel, shopping, food, fuel, and much more. But there's more to My Card. Worldwide acceptance, an EMV chip for extra security, and 250 free Fun Miles with first use. Switch to My Card today at WIB.
Fun miles from within your reach.
Hey guys, did you know that now with Telcel, if you accumulate $25 or more within 1 calendar month, you get 15 more?
15 more?
Yes, 15 more. However you want.
So I can top up $3 now, $10 next week, and so on until I reach or pass $25?
That's right. Get 15 more.
Wow! I feel like a 15 again.
Yeah. Right. Accumulate $25 or more within 1 calendar month and get 15 more. Telcel, when you want more.
Yeah, a question that I don't know if you're going to really answer it, but it's something that have to be explained, the situation with the National Alliance. You has been around quite a while. You was an Island Council member. You were also, I think, a state secretary, if I'm not mistaken, of health, if I might probably be wrong with that. And you are now in Parliament. What seems to be the problem that the National Alliance cannot sit there as 4 years? There's always something that's not connecting. Sometimes you hear that there's lack of communications. Sometimes it's angerness. What can you share for me with that? Who you, as a person who has been along with the party?
Well, you correctly said I've been there since 2003, and let me make this plain to the people of St. Martin. The reason why I chose to be with the National Alliance, because they are a country, a people that always work on behalf of the country. They look at social issues, and we know the history: housing, education, sports facilities. Those are the issues that they look at. Now, with regards to National Alliance not being in government for not long enough, I would say, the fact is, when the enemy, and yes, I consider them the enemy of the people, saw that the National Alliance was working, what they made sure to do is throw in the government. Because why? If I let them stay there too long, we can never get back in. You see? And that's the problem. So, people of St. Martin, keep your eyes open, pay attention. Look at the issue of the new government. How long did it take them to swear in this government? And look at the members. National Alliance has never, ever submitted a candidate for minister that was rejected or refused or didn't pass the screening. All of our members passed all the screening. I was State Secretary of Health, Nelson Tillies. I passed the screening. I was member of Parliament also on the Nelson Tillies. But what I'm trying to say, there are those who are saying now they don't want to vote. I didn't want an election. Honestly, I wanted us to go until 2020. But you see, once the National Alliance was working, getting things done, they got scared. Because why? They can't make their deals, they can't make their contracts, they can't make money out of St. Martin. So what should they do? In order to protect their own interests, they threw on the government. So people of St. Martin, pay attention to this, because the fact is that when it comes to vote, don't be fooled. Do not let Silver Fox fool you. Silver Fox has a lot of money. Don't let him fool you. Pay keen attention to what is going on and vote for a party that has always had your best interest at heart, which is the National Alliance. So when it comes to voting, don't be confused, don't be fooled. Look at those who have worked on your behalf, and we need to win outright. Coalition don't work. Coalition will not work. No matter what, no matter who parties get 4 or 5 seats, it will not work. National Alliance, we need to be in government by ourselves and to show that we can work on behalf of the people of St. Martin.
It's been said that behind every door, possibility awaits. How much possibility depends on which door you open first. Every day, we help our customers discover the possibilities in their lives. It all starts with a conversation. Scotiabank. Discover what's possible.
1,
2,
3,
4. This is how common it is to develop a mental illness. 1 out of every 4.
4,
4.
4. But there is hope. Today, most mental illnesses can be managed and treated. Visit your general doctor if you feel concerned about your thoughts and behaviors or have some difficulty dealing with some of life's issues.
If you have been diagnosed and are suffering from a mental illness, keep in mind these 4 points to help you manage your mental health.
1. Get regular checkups with your general doctor.
2. Stay on your treatment plan to prevent relapses.
3. Find a strong support group in your family and friends.
And 4. Never be afraid to ask for help and look out for the warning signs of your illness.
Remember, you are not alone. We are as close as one.
2.
3.
4.
Learn about mental health illness by going to the Mental Health Foundation's website at www.mhf-sxm.com.
How can the Democratic Party be the one saying that this wasn't working, right? You're the ones that you're disgruntled. What's not working? The aid isn't going to the people. And which ministry are you in charge of? You are in charge of VSR. Your minister, they like to say that, right? Your minister, the DP minister. And when we have our meetings, we're like, what's going on with this? I don't know. I don't know would be the reply. I could never say I don't know what was happening on the ground with my ministry or within my schools. And if I didn't know today, I'd make sure I found out today, and I would give the assistance where needed. I believe the responsible ministers have to take responsibility for what, and when something wasn't going right with the cleaning, it wasn't Prime Minister that had to take charge of it, it was Minister Emmanuel. When something went wrong with police, it had to be Minister of Justice. When things were not going right, or there was a discrepancy, or something you needed to know about the harbor or the airport, it was Minister Arundel. About businesses, it was Minister Arundel. You heard that price gouging was going on, Minister Arundel. So why suddenly there's an issue with aid? And I'm saying initially the issue was nothing was coming direct to government. It was going to entities. Samaritan Purse brought in stuff, Red Cross brought in stuff, other entities, Seventh-day Adventists, this one, that one sent a plane. But if it's not addressed to the government of St. Martin, the government of St. Martin can't go and claim it. And then the military had charge of the 2 ports of entry. So they knew what was coming in and wasn't communicating with us. We don't know what's coming in, so how can you even begin to disseminate? I believe the civil servant in charge was at her wit's end trying to find out what is on the island. Okay? But at the end of the day, the responsibility for the ministry and for what was going on with aid lay there, giving that emergency aid. And the aid continued to be given once we got it regulated, but there's no announcements. And people could come and register for aid, but there's no announcements. It is not for me as Minister of Education to announce this. It's for the minister responsible to announce this. So then you start to question about what it is going on. And then questions started coming in about a barge not being able to work in a lagoon. And when the minister explained that other barges have the papers in order and are working, so boats are being lifted and hundreds of permits have been, permits for hundreds of boats have been already signed, and this barge not being able to get the permit because of certain legal issues that they had in their home port and them not having the permission to even be out of Bahamian waters was explained, and still it continued to come back and come back and come back, and then shortly after that government fall. So for us in the coalition, the only issue it had was, okay, the DP is making noise about aid, but the DP was able to go and get aid and share out to the people. Aid started to get disseminated. We had containers parked in front of old receivers' office, where somebody from VSR was in charge and was disseminating aid to different entities. Once you had an organization, Helping Hands, White and Yellow Cross, after school programs, you could get. I myself went and got aid for the breakfast program at a certain moment when we couldn't get a bun right out fast enough to get the food, to get the caterers to cook for our children before the Red Cross, And I was accused of looting because I went there on October, it was a holiday, the 9th or the 10th, and whomever was working on receivers billing reported to whomever, and I saw a Facebook post and I was like, what? I'm picking up beans and rice, etc., to be able to give the caterers that day because Red Cross was supposed to kick in and it didn't kick in, so the caterers didn't have the amount of food on hand to be able to cook for the next day. And the next day school was restarting. It was an emergency. And that's what the food was there for, emergencies. The food didn't feed Sylveria Jacobs. It fed the children of St. Martin. So those type of accusations flying around were very hurtful. Because most people don't know the hours that were being put in, not just by the ministers, but by all of those people working in emergency services, by civil servants directly involved with it. Some civil servants weren't really directly needed right away, but you needed the finance people in to be able to get payments out. You needed the VSR people in, you needed the education, culture, youth and sport people in who were dealing with the assessments and all of that. People were working. And when you slap at the minister, you're slapping at all of those people. And that hurts because these people also left their houses undone. I still haven't gotten to repair mine. So I'm thankful for the break. I'm thankful for the break in the sense of I can focus on what I had to focus on as well, but I left and neglected. So politics is what politics is, and because our system is such, people can leave their party, join up with other parties to form a government. We proposed something as National Alliance to curb that, and it wasn't approved, not even internally within the coalition, so it didn't move no further. I guess because they had plans. But it would have been a good interim measure to not allow the person who leaves their party to have the power of a party to form governments. Because initially, it's not individuals forming government, it's parties deciding to work together and come to an agreement. And so that small amendment wouldn't take away your power to vote your conscience as a member of parliament, whether you are with or without your party. It just takes away your power to be the key to form a new government. You understand? So governments can still fall, but it wouldn't be because of an individual. It could be a party pulls away its support and joins with another party, and it's a majority, and that can happen. But if that party can't pull away by itself and form a government, and therefore lures others away, then especially, you know, those young candidates most of the time, and then look at the history of where some of those candidates are today. Look at what the public said to these candidates in subsequent elections. Even some of our sitting ministers now receive clear messages in the last election from the populace. But today they are ministers, and that's all well and good because that's our situation. That's how our policies are set up. So I believe moving forward, and that's why I was so much for a national government where all parties involved would have a say in changing the electoral process because it affects us all. And we keep hearing out there from the newer parties, they will never change it because it benefits them. Well, this person sitting in front of the camera today, Sylveria Jacobs, as a new leader of the National Alliance, is ready to fight for true electoral reform where this nonsense can stop. Where this nonsense can stop. Hard-working people, if you're going to give me a vote of no confidence, then you have to prove it. Then you have to prove that I am being incompetent in my work. Because you cannot tell me in one breath, Minister, you're doing a great job, and the next day give me a vote of no confidence, and the day after when you can't form your government, then you're asking certain members of that same group, not me this time, of that same group to be part of your new government. But didn't you just issue them a vote of no confidence? And everybody knows it's just a farce.